Hey, this is the how-to for finding your maintenance if you fall into the second classification, which means that you are not an avid exerciser and dieter. This means that you haven't really followed a strict training protocol and or dieting protocol for longer than 4 weeks, or haven't done it very well at least. So we're going to use a general calculation for this one to find, because it works for most people. And if you are the other person, I recommend watching that other video first, because it's very important to find your metabolic adaptations. But this is for those of us who have not undergone those metabolic adaptations and are ready to start a new dieting regimen right now. And the way that we're going to find that is in Module 1, we talked about our body composition. If you didn't watch that, you need to go back and watch that, because this is why we're plug-in playing here. If you went and got a body scan done, like say, for instance, this is an in-body scan, it gives you your whole rundown of what's going on in your body in terms of fat, muscle, water, skeletal mass, and everything. They are extremely valuable. Go and get one. You can typically get one at a hospital or a local nutrition shop. It's very, very awesome in any and every journey. But for this step, the most important thing you're going to want is this basal metabolic rate. Okay? Because we're going to plug and play the basal metabolic rate into our calculation. It's gonna, in our total energy expenditure, it takes up about 70%. It is the majority of every person's energy use, and therefore plays a big role on the amount of calories that you're gonna wanna be putting in your body. The basal metabolic rate is your absolute minimum for your body to function. That's how much energy your body needs for your brain to function, for your organs to work, for you to sleep well. And therefore, we want this number to be pretty accurate, even if it's not. If you find a general BMR calculator on the internet, it shouldn't be too far off. There's usually only a couple hundred calories difference, just depending on, say, how much muscle that you have. For other ladies, my height and weight, my BMR is going to be higher on average than the average, because I hold more muscle mass than other ladies. That is one of the biggest benefits of muscle, is that it allows you burn more calories passively. And so your BMR will be higher the more that you build muscle. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to take our BMR and we're going to multiply it times our activity level. Okay, so this is pretty simple generally. So mine is about 1,700 based on this in-body scan, which is over a year old now. But it's about 1,700, and our activity level is going to be based on a few things. It's going to be based on the job that you work, what kind of job that you have, whether it's a sitting job or it's a walking job, or if it's manual labor, that's going to play a big role. And then how many times you exercise and how vigorously you exercise in a week. If you do not exercise and you have a sedentary job, which is a job sitting, then you are going to want to take that BMR and multiply it times 1.2, okay? And that number is going to be generally where your maintenance is, because it's going to take the essential functions of your body, and then that additional 0.2 is going to be how much energy you spend getting up and walking through the day. So it's not usually an excessive amount, but that in itself will be your maintenance. For those of us who do more exercise or have a manual labor job, that number will be higher. So it can go all the way up to 1.8, but that one is definitely reserved for those who exercise at least 5 to 6 times a week for maybe 2 hours at a time, or are literally lifting heavy things pretty constantly throughout the day. So will be somewhere between there, the 1.2 and 1.8, with the majority of us probably being at 1.3 or 1.4. 1.4 being on a higher end. 1.5, if you want to use the 1.5, you're going to want to be somebody that's working on your feet. Like you are walking and get a lot of steps throughout the day. If you're familiar with your NEAT, your steps are probably at least 15,000 steps a day. And you're moving pretty constantly, okay? So 1.3 or 1.4 would be somewhere between there. Like if you're doing some exercise, like an hour-long exercise 3 times a week, you can do the 1.3. And if you have a job on your feet, 1.4. And then between the 1.5 and 1.8 would be someone that's like standing on their feet and getting some exercise, and a combination of lifting different things throughout the day. So that number in itself will probably be around 1,800 to 2,200 for most ladies. For men, it's going to be higher because the amount of testosterone in the body simply burns more calories passively, and therefore the BMR is just going to be higher for men, as well as your maintenance point will be higher for men as well on average. So that is how we are going to find our maintenance on a general calculation. If you want more of a low and slow approach, if you think you have metabolic adaptations, please see the other instructional video in this module that breaks down the phase 1 and phase 2 process to finding your unique amount. It takes longer to execute, at least a couple weeks, but it is also highly effective at finding what makes your maintenance different from other people's. So this can be great for outliers, people that don't tend to fall within the general umbrella, which can be rare. But otherwise, we have now found your maintenance and you are ready to calculate your deficit. So get excited, and I will see you in the next lesson.